For the first question, I have chosen the company of AirAsia. So, AirAsia Berhad is a Malaysian low-cost airline company which provided airline services or transportation services to its customer. It is headquartered at Kuala Lumpur, and the main hub for AirAsia is in KLIA 2. All its Kuala Lumpur departures and arrivals operate through this terminal at KLIA 2. Its affiliate airlines are Thai AirAsia, Indonesia AirAsia, Philippines AirAsia, AirAsia Z, and AirAsia India. Okay, the vision of AirAsia is it visions to be the largest low-cost airline in Asia and serving the 3 billion people who are currently underserved with poor connectivity and high fares. As for its mission, AirAsia, its mission is to be the best company to work for, whereby employees are treated as part of a big family, to create a globally recognized ASEAN brand, to attain the lowest cost so that everyone can fly with AirAsia, and to maintain the highest quality product, embracing technology to reduce costs and enhance service levels. AirAsia has many services to offer to its customers. The main service is to transport a passenger from point A to point B. This company started with only 2 old aircraft and from only one route between KL and Langkawi, and after 12 years of operating, it managed to go over 88 destinations, carried over 220 million guests, and owned 150 aircraft. AirAsia also gives the service of flight bookings and check-ins. AirAsia has also the service of hot meals and snack attack. This is the food service given to the customer on the plane. Customers are given choices to pre-book their meals online, or they can purchase their meal on board. AirAsia also provides the service for the customers, Wi-Fi service for the customers on board. This is called Rocky Wi-Fi services. It lets the customer to surf the online web on board. Customers must firstly purchase Rocky token before usage of the Wi-Fi. Sir, may I have the Rocky token for the Wi-Fi, please?
Yes, take it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Intangibility is defined as something that cannot be seen, touched, or tasted. The intangibility of service is what differentiates it from a product and a service. Inseparability means that it is not possible to disconnect the service from the service provider. The inseparability of service makes it complicated to separate the service from the service provider. The production and consumption of a service can occur at the same time, making it impossible to produce and store a service before consumption, which brings me to the next point, which is the perishability of service. Perishability of service means that the service cannot be stored, returned, or resold once it is given to a customer. When the service has been completed or carried out, this particular service is irreversibly vanishes as it is being utilized by the customer. Next is the heterogeneity. Heterogeneity is known as variability. It describes the uniqueness of service offered. While the products can be homogeneous and mass-produced, the same cannot be said with service. If you go to a place twice, the service may not be the same as when you go the first time. Firstly, the services provided by KFC are intangible. Even though the chicken itself is intangible, the services provided by KFC are not. For example, the service of delivery provided by KFC, even though the delivery can be experienced by the customer, it cannot be touched or tasted by the customer. Secondly, the delivery service is inseparable from the delivery guy. This shows the inseparable characteristic of service.
I would like one package of ayam penyet.
It can be said that the person providing the service and the service itself is inseparable.
Oh, nice. It would be great.
Third, the separate characteristic of heterogeneity can be clearly seen in how KFC do their delivery service.
Yes. For the delivery,
If one ordered KFC in the morning, the delivery service might be faster as it is compared in the evening, as it is can be affected by the factor of traffic. Lastly, the perishability can be seen in KFC delivery service, where the customer can never store or save a delivery service once it has been carried out. This clearly shows the perishability of service.
Okay, let's move to the next question. As you can see, there are several factors that help the growth of the service industry. Let's emphasize to the 4 factors. For the first is trend, followed by changes, strategic and marketing. For the trend, this is the duty for the service provider to detect, to acknowledge the trends that actually happen in the community. Let's take an example from Mr. Zubair. Okay, this is a clear example on how we need to know the trends of the market. Thank you. Okay, next for the second factor that help the growth of service industry is the changes. Changes can see how the people are changes when it comes to the service provider, what the service that they are tend to use to entertain them. Okay, let's go for the example. Okay, Mr. Zubair here are using the newspaper for the before, but currently they are using the handset to scroll all the information by not using any of the newspaper anymore. Okay. Okay, for the strategic, as you can see, strategic is not within what the customer needs, what the customer demands, but how the company strategize their objective and all of their demands, all of their particulars that they need to provide to the customers. Okay, here you are making a strategy on how to gain the high profit to expect the customer use our service. Okay, for the last factor, as you can see, after the trend change and strategic, the marketing is one of the factors that actually accelerate the performance of the growth of the service industry. Okay, when it comes to marketing, this is how the service provider create advertisement to the others to make people know that they are provided the service. Okay, let's take an example. Ooh, free stuff! Okay, this is the clear example on whereby the company provide the free of items of the goods to make sure that the people are known, they are liked to the service that they are going to be entertained with. Thank you. Okay, now we'll take a look at survival model. First of all, survival model is a model that is used to illustrate factors that influence the service experienced by the customer, which include those that are visible and invisible. So, from this diagram, you can see that the part which include the organization, which is the visible one, and the part which can we say the invisible one, which is the part of rules and regulation of the organization. For the visible part of the structure model, there are 3 main items, which is inanimate environment, contact personnel, and also service provider. And for the invisible part or the backstage, they can be the rules regulation for the company, for example. So, in short, supervision model is a great model for corporation to identify what is their front stage and backstage in the organization. So, supervision model also help us to identify the needs of the customer, and we can see how the customer involvement is in model where customer A will deliver what he experienced from the organization and transfer it to the customer B. Okay, thank you.
The next question is about the implication of intangibility of service and how to communicate the intangibility of service. Okay, first of all, as you may know that the service is always varying as you pay for the service and that you receive. Secondly, that due to the intangibility of service, a lot of problems are faced in marketing the service, because it needs a tangible element to add to make the marketing of service which is intangible possible. Next, another problem that is caused by intangibility of service is that services cannot be stored. Therefore, as for example, KFC, they have an employee which do the service for them. Therefore, they cannot store the service when the customer is needed. The employee is constantly doing the service even though there are no people. For example, during rush hours, meaning around after work, where people go to KFC to buy dinner for their children, many people are utilizing the employee that KFC have. But when it's not during rush hour, for example in the morning, the employees are there but they are not utilized. KFC cannot store the employees. That is the problem that is caused by intangibility. So to summarize that, service cannot be touched, and there are no process standardization for service. Service cannot be patented, and there are no inventories in service. And lastly, the consumer is part of the service process because the consumer consumes the service. Thus, either the service must go to the customer or the customer must go to the service. In how to communicate the intangibility of service, well, the most effective way is to involve the customer in service production by teaching them on how to self-service and how to use the new technologies. This is pioneered in Malaysia by Pizza Hut, where they made a song regarding on how to remember the number to obtain the delivery service of Pizza Hut, and this is being utilized by KFC, McDonald's, and other companies that utilize the delivery service.
Can you sing the song?
The song is 1-300-882-525. See? So next is reducing the communication roles for intermediary. This means reducing third party to connect with the customers, meaning using an external marketing company to market the product for KFC. And that is all. Thank you.
Okay, now for the sixth question. As you can see, sixth question is asking us to presenting about the servicescape. As you can see, servicescape has been pioneer. The pioneer of the servicescape are Booms and Bittner, whereby he defined the environment in which the service is assembled and which the seller and customer interact, combined with tangible commodities that facilitate performance or communication of the service. As you can see, servicescape is the place where we deliver our service, the place when we interact with the customer. All of these elements of servicescape are being emphasized into four factors, into four elements. Firstly, as you can see, is the socializer. Okay, socializer is the person that are interact with the customer. As you can see, for the frontline manager, they are deal with the customer. How they interact with the customer is a very concerned thing that the service provider need to apprehend. Secondly, is the facilitator. As you can see, facilitator, as you can see, is the facilities that the service provider can provide to the customer. Therefore, usually can make a good frame or concept that how the customer need to deal with the frontline manager in the outlet or in the company. Okay. Next, for the third is socializer. As you can see, socializer is the element whereby the managers are actually interact with the customers. And lastly, differentiator. Differentiator is the competitor. The competitor which actually the company which have the provide the same service provider but is within the different company. Therefore, the differentiator, the service provider need to have the competitive advantage, and the elements that make it difference in the company, thus make the service provider is the best among the others.
The last question is about service innovation. According to Gadriel, service innovation is innovation in process and innovation in organization for existing service product. So what he actually means is that service innovation are difficult to protect and can easily be imitated. So for the case If we take service innovation happen in diverse structure where they will utilize distinctive variable input. For example, for IT equipment, learning, and interest in staff preparing, advertising, and innovative work such as research and design. And service innovation does not so much happen in formalized R&D lab or examination focuses. As we can see, every company which require innovation. This include with the introduction of a new high technology for the company, improving their packaging, improving their process system. It's not something that you can take lightly. It is compulsory for every corporation to do service innovation in order for them to survive in this business world. As we can see, they talk about the importance of service, and the most important part is the reason they do innovation is so that they can survive in their business. Okay, pause. Okay, next we do innovation in service to achieve great result as service can make our job much more easier and faster. For example, if your company is innovative, you must always try to create a new idea in increasing your productivity and also the quality of your service to ensure that you are on the right track. So finally, the most important reason why we should do innovation is to ensure the sustainability of our business. If you are delivering the same service every day, you can't attract the customer every day, you know, as they might take your idea to be dull, boring. So innovate to show that what you are capable of and try to make sure that your business will sustain for a long period of time. So that is all about service innovation from me and my group.